What needs grappling? Into the fray. Made a mountain of the Xenos bastards.
Yo, what is up everybody? Jumpin' ya. Today I am back on some Space Marines 2, and I wanted to talk about the Vanguard's Nova Grapple build and show off this gameplay. This is probably my best Vanguard gameplay I've actually ever had. And the Vanguard is one of my favorite classes in the entire game. If I had to rank the classes right now, at least my top 3 is Tactical Bulwark Vanguard. But Vanguard's a lot of fun. I am using the bolt carbine as my main gun, and in my opinion, this is his best gun by far. You can absolutely destroy everything, especially if you can get a parry, but it works so well against the extremes, like lifters for example. You can absolutely destroy them, and it's just an awesome weapon. It might be the strongest weapon or highest DPS in the game. I do think it probably is, especially if you are close to the enemies. What you have to do with this gun is you do have to be within 10 meters to get a additional headshot multiplier, and that is what makes the gun so powerful, is being at that 10-meter radius, which is perfect for the Vanguard because we can use our power and basically just get right next to enemies and unload on them. This gun is also amazing for hip firing. I really like this build because one of the things you can do is finish off enemies early, and I think that this gameplay is a really good example of that, because I'm going to be doing it a whole lot. There is one downside to trying to go for the grapple build, and that is doing it with actual real players. If you play with bots, it's kind of perfect. The bots don't ever go for finishers, so you have a lot of time to go ahead and go in, get your grapple, and you will do a Nova as well, which that Nova does a lot of damage. You can easily take out giant groups of majors. You can put extremes into execution state. The only downside to it is that if you play with real people, then they may take the kill. If that happens, you're going to waste a charge. Another thing that can happen is sometimes you might accidentally take a kill that you didn't really mean to take, and it can be a disaster for your teammate, because if the teammate really needed to get an execution to get all their contested health back, and you just came in and prematurely took the kill where really all you were trying to do was stun the enemy, it can be an issue. So when I play with other real players, I typically actually use a different build, which would be his range build, I guess, because the Vanguard is a hybrid between melee and range, but in my case, I shoot about 90% of the time, and I might melee about 10% of the time. To be honest, the chainsword is so amazing at taking out the Minoris enemies that I typically will use my chainsword to save ammo against them if there's hordes of them. But outside of that, I am shooting the bolt carbine because it's just so much fun, and it wrecks. Now, one thing that they could do to fix the problem with multiplayer and the Nova grapple build, if that Nova effect goes off and you don't get the grapple, that should be enough to give you the recharge, because right now the recharge effect is on the actual grapple. If you don't get the grapple, you don't get the charge back. If they changed it so that if the Nova went off and you got the recharge, it would be perfect, and I would definitely say that would be the better build for multiplayer. But if you are playing with the bots, or if you're doing true solo and you're able to properly get your executions and use your grapple to get Novas, it's amazing. Now, I do have a tip, by the way, which is something I'm not sure if everybody knows. When you're shooting the enemies, they will actually flash colors. So let's say you're shooting a guy and you see him flash yellow, and then he will flash red. Whenever you see the red, they're about to actually go into execution state, so they're almost dead. You can actually go in and do your grapple, and if you do, that's enough if you are using the perk that will give you the recharge, because you can finish off enemies that are at 33% health. which is really amazing against a lot of the different extremes, tanks in particular, the flying guys. It's really good. But if you are able to get a Nova off on a group of extremes, it will wreck the extremes. Just like it wrecks the majors, it will completely destroy them. Just try to pay attention. It can be hard to see, I will admit, but if you see that flash as you're shooting them and hitting them, go for the grapple and you will get the early finisher and the Nova. It's just super nice. One of the best things about the Vanguard is his healing and his team healing. In multiplayer, I actually prefer the 5% for every major. That's really nice to let me heal and never have to really worry about healing. And then I can let my teammates, for the most part, go ahead and get the extreme kills. The team healing from the extreme perk is so good. It just is. 30% is a stim pack. And the perk scales amazing with difficulty. If you're playing on absolute, then if you get 3 extremes that spawn, that's 90% of your health. If you don't have teammates and you can get all 3 of the kills, the Vanguard's pretty invincible. 90% is crazy. Also, if you are in a team and your teammates need the healing, you don't need a Bulwark if you got a Vanguard, because the Vanguard is the little brother of the Bulwark. Now, eventually they will change the Bulwark's perk that allows him to heal. That's just going to make the Vanguard even better. Now, the Vanguard is extremely tanky, and the Vanguard has gotten a lot tankier with the prestige levels. The Vanguard's prestige, there's really only 4 good ones, so go for those 4. At prestige 1, just go for the range damage, because that's a pretty decent perk. And at prestige 2, definitely get the armor when using your grappling hook. That actually gives you the power to control when you need an armor. Just use your grappling hook. It's super nice. And then at prestige 3, get the armor for getting 7 kills. And this can occur every 15 seconds. You combine those two together and you just do not have armor problems at all on the Vanguard. If you actually get one of these Grapple Nova executions, that's instantly 2 armor. Now, another thing that really makes the Vanguard tanky is Conviction, which is one of his perks. But when you lose your armor, you will get a 25% damage reduction for your health, and it will last for 10 seconds. Now, in that 10 seconds on the Vanguard, you will probably get your armor back, the 2 armor, and then when it goes down again, it will re-trigger. So you basically have the effect going the entire time. You can also use the perk when you get a perfect parry or a block. You can get 20% damage reduction for your health. That's a decent perk too, but I just kind of prefer the grappling hook cooldown. But the Vanguard is very, very strong and tanky. If you do take any damage, you have a recovery, if you have the extreme team perk, or if you are using the solo 5% when you get a melee kill. Now, the final prestige perk you should get is the 15% health. It's nothing fancy, but 15% health is really good. This game's all about health, so definitely get that. Now, there is one big problem on the Vanguard. And this problem can be solved with prestige perks. I really do hope that they add more prestige perks to the classes, because some of the classes have weaknesses and the prestige perks can completely fix those weaknesses. Now, on the Vanguard, the big weakness is ammo. If you do shoot your gun a lot, like I do, you're gonna run out of ammo. And in fact, in this gameplay, I will run out of ammo multiple times. It would be nice if the Vanguard could actually get one of the 2 different ammo prestige perks. You have auxiliary reload from the heavy and the bulwark, which, Saber, make it make sense to me. Why does the bulwark get that perk and not the Vanguard? But I'm not saying they should take it away from the bulwark. They really should just be able to add these prestige perks to the different classes, because you still have to make that choice. You have to give something up. And almost all the classes do have 4 pretty decent prestige perks. Now in the case of the Vanguard, if there was an ammo perk, I would totally give up the 10% range damage. I'd rather get the ammo all day. Now they could also add the other ammo prestige perk, which right now is only on the sniper, which is versatile precision. Now that perk is actually extremely good. And I say why not? Because the sniper had ammo problems as well. That is no longer the case because that perk is just so nice. The sniper and the Vanguard are both ambush, kind of rogue-like classes, so it just makes sense. Like, why can't they share that perk? Either one of those perks would absolutely make the Vanguard perfect, because the ammo issue is really the biggest con. Everything else is just totally pro. There's so much good with the Vanguard. Ammo is the big problem, at least for me. Now, auxiliary reload actually makes a lot of sense too, just because you already want to get melee finishers on the extremes, and when you get a melee finisher on an extreme, you get a magazine back. So again, that would completely fix the Vanguard's issue with ammo. If they were able to make it so that the Nova grapple build would work better in multiplayer, mainly if somebody takes the kill from you that you're trying to get with the grapple, it should still give you the recharge, because it still will pop the Nova a lot of times. In this gameplay, it's going to happen multiple times against the flying enemies. They're very buggy, and when you try to finish them early, if they're too high in the air, you can't grab them, so you will just waste your charge, but your Nova effect will still go off, and that will actually kill them most of the time. It does happen in this gameplay. Right now, in my opinion, the tactical and the bulwark are complete. You can literally never touch them again and they would be fine. I don't really think they should change the contested health perk on the bulwark. They said that they were going to change it, so I guess they might. They're coming out with a healing class, and the Vanguard can heal. So if the bulwark, the Vanguard, and the healing class can all heal the team, that's about half of the classes. That makes sense to me. I don't see why that would be an issue. Yeah, the Bulwark's perk is extremely good, but the Vanguard, if you don't have a Bulwark, the Vanguard is fine. Your team can absolutely survive. So I don't really see the problem with the Bulwark needing that perk to be changed. And I actually fear that if they were to change that perk on the Bulwark, they may actually nerf the Vanguard's healing, because they're like, well, it's just as good basically. I think that they can leave the Bulwark alone, leave the tactical alone, and just go into the different classes that have some weaknesses, and then you can at least give the option, hey, if you want to get this as a prestige perk to kind of shore up this weakness, why not? Another example of this, by the way, is the Stim Pack perk. That perk is so good on the tactical and the Bulwark, I freaking love it. And it's a real shame that I can't put that on my sniper or put that on my assault, because those two classes really could use that perk. Where the tactical, it's nice on him, but the Bulwark doesn't need it. The Bulwark can drop the banner and get max contested health. So why in the world does the Bulwark get a Stim Pack perk? To be honest, the class balance is really good. The only class that I personally don't really enjoy all that much is the Assault. Every other class I think is fantastic. Everything is S tier. I do believe that the Vanguard is on the same level as the Tactical and the Bulwark. At least not far off. Because if there is a couple little things that maybe get shore up in the future, like the ammo issue or the Nova wonkiness issue, if those get fixed, then the Vanguard is perfect. If you haven't leveled him up, I would definitely recommend it. The tankiness will really kick in once you're Prestige 3. That's kind of a downside, and that's when you're going to have all the armor perks. But I would appreciate it if you guys could like this video for me. Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.
Ready in payload delivery.
Rites of activation have been observed. The generator's harboring the machine god's name. Crane sequencing initialized. Delivering payload.
Run interference for generator 4.
Generator 4 is suffering mechanistic X-axis aligned by the Omnissiah's will.
The buyer's machine, but slow.
Vacate generator 4's cabin. Climbing is not permitted while in operation.
Grapple will just set. Now, finish that boss. Finished and ready.
Y-axis aligned. Margin of error 0.0 nanometers. Less than the Omnissiah's direct position.
Hold on, Imperium. The deed is nearly done.
Operator, bring it into harmony of timing.
Closing the gap. One down. Go.
Demolition deployment sequence concluded. All errors logged under the Omnissiah's functional oculus.
Bomb is in place, Command.
There is an observation platform overlooking the Kryptonithium fields. It will make a good vantage for your ambush.
That will teach you to sneak up on the starters. Heal your packs, brothers. Good to go. grapnel launcher set. We stand ready to deliver the Emperor's vengeance.
Dig in. We need that bomb triggered for optimal yield. Orbital scan estimates the bulk of the swarm will not be in position for a while yet. Keep your heads and get it done.
Enemies have split from the main force. Prepare to intercept. We are prepared for a controlled burn. The Tyranids are piling on. Perimeter breach, ready for close. Let the foul creatures burn.
The bulk of the swarm is continuing along the predicted path. Continue moving.
Stoke the fires and roast these Tyranids on a spit!
Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up.